In the middle of a big green forest, there lived a small white rabbit named Ralph. Ralph was kind, quiet, and always helped others. He lived in a cozy hole near the riverbank. One sunny morning, Ralph was hopping near the mango tree when he heard someone crying. He followed the sound and found a monkey sitting on the ground, holding his leg. "Ouch! I fell from the tree," said the monkey. "Oh no, are you okay?" asked Ralph, worried. "My name is Milo," said the monkey. "I have no home and no food. I just wanted a mango." Ralph looked at the sad monkey and said, "Don't worry, Milo. Come with me, I'll give you food. You can stay with me." Milo smiled big. "Really? You are so kind." From that day, Ralph and Milo became friends. They lived together in Ralph's hole and ate simple meals of carrots, fruits, and nuts. But soon things started to change. At first, Milo was very thankful. He helped Ralph clean the house and gather food. But soon Milo became lazy. "Why should I work?" said Milo one day. "Ralph does everything. I'll just sleep and eat." He started waking up late and eating all the bananas before Ralph got home. Sometimes he even ate the carrots Ralph saved for dinner. One morning, Ralph came back from the forest with a basket full of sweet berries. "Let's share these," as he said. But Milo grabbed the basket and ran up a tree. "These are mine now," he laughed. "Milo, that's not fair," said Ralph, hurt. "We are friends." "I don't care," said Milo, eating all the berries. Ralph sat under the tree and felt sad. His friend had become greedy. Then something strange happened. A loud noise came from the sky. Boom! Dark clouds covered the sun, and the wind began to blow hard. Rain started falling fast. Thunder roared. Milo was stuck in the tree and got wet. "Ralph, help me!" Ralph, though sad, still cared. He ran and helped Milo climb down. They rushed to find shelter and found a small cave behind some rocks. Inside the cave, it was dry and warm. They saw a shiny box in the corner. "What is that?" Milo asked. Ralph opened it carefully. Inside were gold coins and a note that said, "To the one who is kind and honest, this treasure belongs to you." Milo's eyes grew big. "Wow, we are rich." But Ralph said softly, "We didn't earn this. We should leave it here." "What? That's silly," shouted Milo. "I'm taking it." "No," said Ralph. "It's not ours." Milo became angry. "Fine, I'll take it myself." But as soon as he touched the box, the cave began to shake. The cave walls glowed. A deep voice came from nowhere. "Only the honest may touch the gift. Greed will bring trouble." Milo screamed and let go of the box. The ground stopped shaking. I didn't know," said Milo, trembling. Ralph helped him up. "You were greedy, Milo. That's not how friends act." Milo began to cry. "I'm sorry, Ralph. I forgot how good you are to me. I was selfish." Ralph smiled a little. "It's okay to make mistakes, but you must change." Milo nodded. "From now on, I'll be like you, kind and honest." Suddenly, the box floated and opened by itself. The voice returned. "Now that the greedy heart is clean, the treasure may be shared." Golden fruits, shining vegetables, and sweet honey floated out of the box. Ralph and Milo danced with joy. But what would they do with all this treasure? Ralph and Milo didn't keep all the treasure for themselves. They shared it with all the forest animals. Ella the elephant got sweet watermelon. Ricky the rabbit got yummy carrots. Even old Grumpy Bear got a jar of golden honey. Soon the forest became the happiest place around. Animals laughed, played, and helped one another. Milo kept his promise. He woke up early, worked hard, and never took more than his share again. He even said thank you before every meal. Ralph was proud of him, and from that day on, the box stayed in the middle of the forest, only opening when someone did something kind and honest. The forest had learned something important. Greed closes doors, but honesty opens treasures. One peaceful morning, Ralph and Milo sat under a tree eating mango slices when a loud noise came from the east side of the forest. Boom! 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 Birds flew out of trees. Leaves shook. The ground trembled a little. Ralph stood up. "What is that?" Milo looked worried. "It's coming closer." Soon they saw a group of big animals walking slowly into their forest. There were tall giraffes, strong buffaloes, and even some wild dogs. One of them, a serious-looking giraffe, stepped forward. "We come from the far forest," she said. "A great fire burned our homes. We have no food, no water. Please, help us." The animals of the forest gathered. Some whispered, some looked unsure. "But we don't even know them," said a parrot. "They might eat all our food," grumbled Grumpy Bear. Ralph stepped forward. "We have to help. Remember what the treasure taught us, kindness and honesty." Milo nodded. "Let's give them shelter. We can share our food." The forest animals looked at each other. Some nodded, others hesitated. Would they choose kindness or fear? The animals finally agreed. "Let's help them," said Ella the elephant. "Even if it's hard." They opened up their homes and shared food. At first, everything went well. The visitors were thankful. They helped clean the forest and built little homes near the river. But after a few days, problems started. The young buffaloes began jumping into the river, scaring the fish away. The wild dogs barked loudly at night, waking everyone up. And worst of all, someone started stealing bananas again. "I don't like this," said Ricky the rabbit. "They're causing trouble." Milo frowned. "What if one of them is stealing again? What if we made a mistake?" Ralph said calmly, "Let's not blame anyone yet. Let's find the truth first." So that night, Ralph and Milo stayed awake, hiding near the banana trees. The wind was soft. The moon was full. Suddenly, they heard a rustle. The rustle became louder. A shadow crept close to the banana tree. Milo whispered, "Is that one of the buffaloes?" But as the moonlight shined brighter, they saw it wasn't a buffalo or a dog or even one of the new visitors. It was Kiki the parrot. She flapped her wings and grabbed bananas with her tiny claws, stuffing them in a hidden basket. Ralph gasped. "Kiki?" Kiki froze. She dropped a banana. I'm sorry," she whispered. "I thought no one would notice. I was scared we wouldn't have enough food for winter. I didn't trust the visitors." Ralph and Milo looked at each other. "Kiki, stealing isn't the answer," said Milo. "We all agreed to share." Tears filled Kiki's eyes. "I feel terrible. I'll return everything." The next day, Kiki stood in front of the forest animals and told the truth. "I'm sorry," she said. "I was wrong." The animals forgave her, and the visitors even helped replant banana trees. But now Ralph had a new idea. "Let's build something," he said. "Something that will help us never forget these lessons." After Kiki confessed and the forest calmed down, Ralph called for a big meeting under the learning tree. All the animals gathered, old and young, small and tall. Even the visitors from the far forest sat quietly listening. Ralph stood on a rock and said, "We've learned so much this season about greed, about truth, and about helping others." He smiled kindly. "But what if we built something to remind us every day? A place where we can grow food, share stories, and teach young ones to be honest and kind?" The animals leaned in with interest. "We can call it the Garden of Kindness," Milo added. "Every animal can plant something, and we'll all take care of it together." Excited cheers filled the air. The very next morning, the forest animals began working side by side. The elephants dug wide holes with their trunks. The monkeys hung baskets from trees. The rabbits planted carrots. Even the wild dogs carried water. Milo worked harder than anyone. He wanted to prove he had truly changed. By the end of the week, the forest had the most beautiful garden anyone had ever seen. full of sweet fruits, vegetables, flowers, and signs that read, "Honesty grows here. Kindness is the best seed." But just when things seemed perfect, dark clouds returned one night. And this time, they weren't just rain. Lightning flashed across the sky. Thunder shook the trees. All the animals ran to shelter, except Ralph and Milo, who stood guard over the Garden of Kindness with big leaves tied to their heads like hats. Suddenly, a loud growl echoed through the trees. Out of the shadows came a pack of strange wild animals, thin, with glowing red eyes. They looked lost, hungry, and confused. "They don't look like visitors," whispered Milo. "They look like trouble." The biggest of the shadow animals stepped forward. "We smell food. We will take what we want." Ralph didn't move. "This garden is for sharing, not stealing. If you're hungry, we can help, but you must promise not to hurt anyone." The shadow animals laughed. "Kindness is weak." But suddenly the garden glowed. The treasure box from the cave floated into the air, above the garden, shining brightly. The deep voice from before returned. "This garden is protected by truth and kindness. If your hearts are greedy, you shall not enter." The shadow animals blinked and howled. They tried to step forward, but the earth shook under them. They screamed and ran back into the forest shadows. Milo stood shaking. "That was close," Ralph smiled. "The garden is more than food. It's protected by honesty itself." But now the forest had a new worry. Who were those shadow animals? And would they return? After the scary visit from the shadow animals, Ralph couldn't sleep. He sat outside the Garden of Kindness, watching the stars. Milo came and sat beside him. "You're still worried?" Ralph nodded. "Those animals were lost, scared, hungry. They need help too." "But they tried to steal from us," Milo said. Ralph looked up. "Sometimes the ones who act the worst are the ones who've been hurt the most." The next morning, Ralph gathered a group of brave animals. Ella the elephant, Kiki the parrot, Ricky the rabbit, and even a buffalo visitor all agreed to join. "We will go and find the forgotten forest," Ralph said. "We will help the shadow animals." They packed fruits, honey, and water. Then they followed the trail of broken branches deep into the dark parts of the forest where no one had gone in years. The forgotten forest was quiet and cold. They saw broken trees, black rivers, and animals hiding behind rocks, covered in dirt and fear. Ralph stepped forward and held up a mango. "We came to help, not to fight." A small shadow animal stepped out. It was just a young wolf with tired eyes. "No one has ever helped us," he said softly. "We're helping now," said Milo, handing him some water. One by one, the animals of the forgotten forest came out. They were thin, scared, and unsure. Ralph and his friends cooked soup, told stories, and gave hugs. Then something magical happened. The dark sky above the forgotten forest began to clear. Sunlight peeked through. Flowers began to grow. The shadow animals started to glow softly too. The red in their eyes faded. They were not monsters. They were just forgotten friends. When Ralph and his team returned to the Garden of Kindness, the whole forest cheered. Behind them came the animals from the forgotten forest, now smiling, healthy, and thankful. Ralph called a final meeting. "We are all different. Some of us are fast, some slow, some from near, some from far, but we are one forest, and there is enough love, food, and kindness for us all." The treasure box floated one last time above the garden. This time it opened on its own. Inside was a glowing seed. Ralph planted it in the middle of the garden. And from that seed grew a tree of truth, tall, golden, and full of heart-shaped leaves. Every season, it dropped leaves with words like honesty, kindness, forgiveness, and share. Animals came from every corner of the world to visit the Garden of Kindness and sit beneath the Tree of Truth. Epilogue. Milo's letter. Many years later, when Ralph grew old, Milo wrote a letter and placed it beneath the Tree of Truth. Dear Forest, I was once greedy. I wanted everything for myself. But Ralph showed me a better way. He didn't just share food, he shared love, truth, and courage. If you ever feel lost or angry or scared, remember, there's always room for change. Just be honest, be kind, and you will find your way. Milo the monkey. And from that day forward, every young animal in the forest learned about the honest rabbit and the greedy monkey. A story passed from heart to heart forever.